Hi Tom, all good, thank you.
Good. You spoke after the playoff final about just how draining last season was, all the efforts that went into it from you personally, and obviously you're quite emotional after that game. I was just wondering how much time you've had to recharge your own batteries in this really short summer, and I suppose how sustainable it is for you personally to put all that effort, because it looked like it was absolutely knackering.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything at the end of a long season. The emotions, what you see at Wembley is one which is a mixture of all sorts: relief, proud. So I think that all comes out, and when all you know in your life is football, and whether the player and the season ends, and you have a summer before you know it, after 2 weeks sitting on a sun lounge, you're relaxing, you're then thinking, I can't wait to get back into it again. So it's no different now. I'm relishing the challenge, what we face ahead now. And of course, it has been shortened. I'd like an extra couple of weeks. I'm sure I would have. But before you know it, you're in the thick of it again, and the spotlight's on you, and you need to be ready. You need to be prepared. You need to get back to work and do all you can and live, eat, sleep and drink it, really, because if that's what you want to be successful, that's what you've got to try and do. So now look, I'm relishing the challenge again this year. I can't wait for that. A young manager, along with my staff, a young staff, and along with the team. What made me so emotional last year, certainly at the end and during that lockdown period, was probably I see a team that really developed as not just a football team, but as human beings as well. And I think that's why I was quite emotional, because that something inside me, which was very, very proud of the group of men what I see. So again, now there's another challenge which they face. The challenge last year was to win every week. The challenge this week is or this year is going to be, you need to go and prove yourself. You need to prove in the biggest league in the world, against the best players in the world, with a lot of eyes looking at you thinking you're not going to be good enough. You need to prove to them you are. And certainly that's a challenge I can't wait for, really.
And with Mikel Arteta, there's a bit of a similarity between yourself and him. But obviously this new wave of younger coaches, not too recently retired from the game. You both sort of served your time working in being a coach before getting the manager's job. First of all, I was wondering, do you remember any good battles, perhaps in North London derbies between the two of you? And then also, what is we see lots of top players try to become managers, and it doesn't always work out. But I know it's early days for both of you, but you've already had good success already. I mean, what is the difference? Why is it not? Why can't every top player become a good manager, I
suppose? I remember having many battles with Mikel when he was at Everton, West Ham. I was at West Ham. I remember having a lot of battles. Tottenham, Spurs, and a fantastic football player. So, and then I think going back to your question about current managers, look, like we just probably touched on, this job is full on. It's absolutely full on, and when you do go in and step into it, you need to go into it fully committed, and obviously I think that's a big part of obviously being successful, really. So changing ones where you've played in the game, you've been in the arena, you've been in the stadium, you've been on the pitch, and you know everything and you see it for what it is. All of a sudden, when you step out of that, you now need to try and teach that to others. And teaching and explaining your way, or explaining ideas, or trying to give over your experiences in a way where you're educating is very, very different. And it's very easy for me to step on the pitch and demonstrate. Or I understand it in my head, but like anything now, as an art, to actually teaching that over to players, or teaching a way and what you want to see from them. So certainly there's that element as well.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Tom. Can we have any further questions from written press? And can you raise your hand so I know you have a question, please?
Yes, Carmelo, please, if that's possible. Tony?
Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Thank you.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, Tony. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. One quick question. Areola, the goalkeeper, is he okay and ready to play on Saturday if selected? Is he fit and etc. and in good condition?
I mean, he's been in the building now for 2 days, so we're monitoring that. We'll see where we are come on the weekend and see where he is.
Okay.
He's going to be a big signing for us. He's going to apply a lot of pressure in that area on the goalkeepers for both of them. I think they can thrive off each other. They can both become better. So yeah, but regarding that, Tony, we'll see nearer the time and see where they both are.
Okay. And the other question, you've got a few players who are still in the squad who were in that division in the Premier League 2 years ago. I'm thinking of Tom and Mitro and players like that. I wonder whether they feel like they've still got something to prove at the top level, whether there's a bit in them which thinks, well, it didn't work out very well for me last year. I've got something to prove. You can feed off that, I would have thought, as a manager, can't you?
1,000,000%, Tony. 1,000,000%. And they have. Let's get it right. Last time we was in this position, we didn't do too well. We got relegated, and it was a tough year. And I'm sure them players during that season, they would say the same. So I'd like to think that if they were sitting they're sitting in this position, and they're thinking exactly what you said there, because every single one of us have got something to prove this year, and then exactly that. So yeah, I'd like to think that every person, everyone around us in this moment, whether it be the experiences of last time you was in this division, or to prove that you're just coming into this football club and you need to now set a bar and set something about you, then I think it's that mentality and that mindset every one of us are going to need this year to be successful, for sure.
And just one last one from me is with somebody spoke earlier about the other two players who might be coming in. Is that it? Are you anticipating much more recruitment before the window shuts, or are you close to doing the business that you kind of were hoping to do?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping to do a few things. There is no set number on it. I think there's areas of the team where we need to improve. There's areas of the team that need to evolve. Certain people need to move on for their development, and obviously for our development as a football team, that other people need to come in to improve us. And this is the world we live in. This is part and parcel of football. And if you want to progress and you want to keep evolving it as a team, wholesale changes and serious surgery, of course not. If you can bring people into a football club and your team what are going to improve and make you better in areas you feel that need to do that, then for sure we're going to do that.
Thanks, Scott, and good luck.
Cheers, Tony. Thank you.
Hey, Carmelo.
Hi, Paul. Yep, go ahead now.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm sorry you can't see me. I even got a shave as well. Waste of time that was. Is a centre-back something of a priority for Fulham, bearing in mind Alfie Mawson's loan?
Well, look, it's an area we're probably a little bit light on. Alfie's obviously gone out to play some games, so it's certainly an area we're looking at. But I think, like I just said, that in the whole team, we'll bring players into the club what we feel that can improve us and make us better. So yeah, I don't think there's any one position. Like I keep saying, like a team to evolve, you need to always be trying to add quality and put people on their toes and create competition, healthy competition, and what comes with that is obviously bringing players in that can give.
On Areola Mina, he didn't have such a good time at Southampton last time he was in the Premier League. What can Fulham offer him that Saints didn't?
Well, I think from when he first went in at Southampton early on, he was fantastic. Unbelievable player, to be honest with you. A player what stood out for me. I remember coming up against him as a coach, and a very, very talented football player. I think Mario will be the first to say he lost his way a little bit and then went off and played last year in Turkey. So I think we understand, I understand the quality of what we have in Mario. Quality football player, what can have a real impact on what we do this year. And saying that, I think he understands, and he needs to understand that what's needed for the Premier League, what's needed to be consistent what's deemed as a success or reaching the pinnacle of your ability is consistency. And with that, to be consistent, there's a lot of ingredients that need to fall into place, really. So I'm sure Mario will fit into this environment very, very well. I'm sure he'll understand very quickly of what's expected of him amongst the other players, amongst myself and amongst his team for him to be successful. And I have no doubt that if he does and he fits into that, we've got some player in our hands. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him this year because I think he'll have a big part to play.
One more from me. Are you confident of keeping Joe Bryan up? We understand he's talking a new contract. Clubs are interested in him. And you also have a new left-back in Anthony Robinson, of course.
Yeah, Joe Bryan's been a massive part of what we've done. Joe Bryan, since I've been here, has had a massive impact. So, there's no way I would want Joe Bryan leaving the football club. And of course, we brought in Anthony Robinson as well to give that push, to give him that challenge. Both of them, two very good players, what are fighting for that position, really. But yeah, people like Joe Bryan, you won't leave the club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. We have a few hands raised. We're going to keep this. We're running out of time a little bit, but I want to give you all an opportunity to ask a question each. Can we please go to Molly Hudson at the Times?
Hi, Scott.
Hiya.
Just one from me. Obviously, you mentioned earlier on that there's a bit of a shift between always being the favourite in the Championship to kind of being the underdog in the Premier League, particularly against a team like Arsenal. How much of that is a mentality shift, and how much do you think it will actually affect the way that you play?
Definitely a mentality shift. I think it's probably a little bit similar to last year, and when everything I was speaking about when we went from obviously losing a lot of football matches in a short space of time, being expected to win a lot and be top of the league and win it by 30 points. It's now the same in a sense of it's that mentality shift as well, and that's something what I'm very conscious of. It's something we need to manage. It's something we need to highlight and realise where we are and what's expected of us this year, really. So, yeah, definitely, the large part for me in teams and successful teams is a mindset and players understanding where they are and what's expected and what we need to do and where we are. But certainly that's the challenge we face this year. We face a challenge in front of us which was different to last year. A challenge which is you need to prove this year that we're good enough to be in this division. We need to prove that we can go up against the best players, the best teams, and really give it a go. So that's a mindset which is down to me to try and change and the players to understand.
Right, last couple then. Can we go to Jack Rosser of the Evening Standard, please?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Jack.
I spoke to Stuart Gray for a piece just on your development as a manager. Do you think you're coming back far more confident and prepared than when you dropped out? Obviously, you were thrown in a slightly difficult position in the Premier League last time, and you've spoken about how things have developed. But how much do you think you have grown in confidence and conviction in your ideas?
Well, I think that experience is vital, isn't it? And obviously, I'm now 18 months or so into the job, and with that comes a vast amount of experience. Whether that's lockdown, promotion, big games, the pressures of understanding at certain moments you've got to win football matches and all of that, for sure would have put me in a better position in that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say. My ideas, and from when I first started out with this team and how I see things, how I see good teams, how I see what great teams have, and to develop them have not. They'll always be there. They're ingrained in the back of my mind because I have some clear ideas on what's needed and how to develop that. So. But yeah, of course, experiences of football matches and pressure moments and of course, is going to be vital in that sense.
And just very quickly, I imagine you have spoken about the interview on Sky after the playoff final at length since then. But did a friend or member of family or yourself catch the parody of the Streets version that was doing the rounds on Twitter? What did everyone make of that?
Yeah, I did see that. To be fair, I'm not on Twitter or anything like that, but I did. I got it sent to me. To be fair, it was pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, it did do the rounds, and it was it was pretty funny. To be fair, so it's pretty good.
Cheers, Scott. Good luck.
Thanks, Jack. And final questions to Alan Smith, football.london, please.
Hi, Scott. Just very quickly, can I just sort of carry on from something you mentioned a few minutes ago about the pressure and the non-stop nature of the job? Do you feel it's now becoming sort of a younger man's role, essentially being a manager? Obviously, you and Arteta are the two youngest coaches in the Premier League.
No, not really. No, not really. I think it's down to the person. It's you know, I spoke about the pressures, but it's no different to, I know, the pressures my dad had when he was working as a lorry driver, or what anyone else pressures have got. Everyone's got their own pressures in what they do, and of course, where I'm sitting, sometimes they're in the spotlight a bit more and they're highlighted a bit more. But if you want to be successful, you're constantly putting that pressure on yourself. You're constantly putting expectation and a pressure that what you need to keep trying to reach and how you want to improve, and that's just a constant. So yeah, I don't think that's an age thing. You know, I think when I become a lot older in my years, I'm still going to be that person was striving perfection and still striving to try and be successful, and that comes from within, really. So yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks,
Thanks
Scott.
a lot. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Good luck.
Cheers. Useful.